What's up, my gorgeous, beautiful buttercups? Are y'all ready for this Pluto retrograde right after we just got done with that Scorpio full moon? Before we deep dive into what we can expect as a collective with this transit, I want to share with you something that has been so close to my heart here lately. And I know I may be just this teeny tiny fish in a gigantic sea with this one, but my heart simply just does not want to participate in this collective that hypes up these transits as a means to get views on a video. I don't want to come on here to sugarcoat things or to say things to you that tickle your ears or that put you in fear in order to build my own channel. I have no desire to create these clickbait thumbnails or manipulate you to watch this video by using some title that makes you believe that this is the most radical transit of the year. I'm simply here to teach you. I took a 5-month break from all of this to get real clear on what my truth was regarding my channel. And one thing I found was I do not want to subscribe to this manipulation tactic that the media uses so heavily and that so many other people use as well. It does work. That's why they use it. But in my heart of hearts, I do not believe any transit is the most shocking or your last chance to do something or anything else for that matter. The energy that comes along with a transit simply is. It's your choice on how you want to deal with it and participate with it. Nothing is ever ending. It is always transforming, especially when it comes to Pluto. This video is plainly laying out what the Pluto retrograde means. Before we dissect what all of that energy means, let's first figure out what the heck does the word retrograde mean anyways? Retrograde is a verb that means to turn back or to decline to a worse position. But don't go getting your knickers in a knot with that last definition. I want you to understand that a planet retrograding is just an illusion. Pluto is not actually traveling backwards in the sky. It only seems that way from Earth's perspective. If you were to ask Mr. Sun about his viewpoint, he would say that Pluto is always moving forward because from his vantage point, Pluto is. So from Earth's perspective, what exactly are we going to see in our sky? Scientifically speaking, what is going on above us is on May 6th, Pluto stations at 5 degrees Aquarius. When a planet stations, it looks like it has stopped and begins standing still. But then over the next 5.5 months, Pluto slowly begins looking like she's moving backwards to 3 degrees of Aquarius. In October, Pluto will station again, which means she looks like she's standing still. But then after October 15th, she will begin to look like she's moving forward in Aquarius. Pluto retrogrades around half a year every single year. So this is definitely not some rare occurrence, but the energy is felt. Okay, so that's all of the scientific mumbo jumbo, but what exactly is going on up in the sky that gives Pluto the illusion that she's going backwards? I want you to imagine it's race day in your mind. Earth and Pluto are at a track meet where they must run laps in an oval. Now, before they actually begin, the Universe Sports channel does a small biography on each planet.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the most epic celestial race you'll ever witness. Today, we have 2 competitors vying for orbital supremacy around our sun. Let's meet our contenders.
In the inside lane, we have Earth, the 3rd planet from the sun. Don't let her position fool you. Earth is a speed demon in this race.
In the outside lane, way out in the outer reaches of our solar system, we have Pluto, the underdog of this race.
Completes 1 full lap around the sun in just 365 days. That's right, 1 year. She's been running this race since the beginning of time, and she never slows down. Consistent, reliable, fast.
While she's racing, she's also hosting 8 billion passengers on her surface. Talk about multitasking.
Pluto is taking the long route around the sun. While Earth completes lap after lap, Pluto is still working on her first lap. And get this, it takes her 248 Earth years to complete just one orbit.
Don't underestimate her, though. She's been racing since before America was even a country, and she'll keep racing long after we're all gone.
Okay, so Earth has her sweatband on and she's ready to go. Pluto has her best running shoes on and is super excited. Earth zips up her 1980s windbreaker and gets into position. Pluto gets in position in a spot on the opposite side of the track. This is the moment where both planets are considered station. For a very, very brief moment, they are in direct alignment and it seems like they are not moving. And that's thanks to Einstein's theory of relativity. The whistle blows and the two planets are off. Now that both planets are moving, it causes them to be out of direct alignment. Now pretend that you're on Earth because you are living on this planet. This is your line of sight of the universe. So as Earth runs, it looks like Pluto is in front of her and she has to catch up. So she runs and runs and runs and she closes this gap between her and Pluto. Pluto is slowly moving along on the outside, but she still looks like she's in front of Earth. Now at some point, Earth catches up to the exact point where Pluto is because Pluto isn't moving as fast. Once Earth catches up to Pluto, this will be the exact moment when Pluto looks stationary from Earth's point of view because they are in direct alignment. Now, this is what is happening on May 6th. Earth has caught up to Pluto. So do you know what happens next? Remember, Earth moves faster. So she will begin to actually pass Pluto. Miss Earth will seem like she is now in the lead and she's moving forward. From your point of view on Earth, Pluto no longer is in your forward perception. You actually have to look backwards to see her. And the more you run, the further and further Pluto moves back. And this is what is happening until October 15th. The stars are staying above us here on Earth from our point of view. So it seems like Pluto is moving backwards in the sky. But remember, if you are Mr. Sun, you can actually see the whole track. So you know Pluto is still slowly moving forward. She's actually not heading backwards. Pluto will continue to look like she's behind you until you get directly opposite of her on the other side of the track. Now, at this point, she's going to look stationary, and that's what's going to happen on October 15th. And then the Earth keeps running. But from that day forward, she looks like Pluto is in front again, and Earth has to catch up to her. Pluto is in her forward perception. So right now in the race, Earth has caught up to Pluto and soon will pass Pluto, making her look retrograde. When this energy first happens, it will be intense. That's because Pluto and Earth's energy are in direct alignment for a brief moment. Now, Pluto is out here and Earth is closer, but there is a distance between them. But there is a direct path between them as well. So pretend you have some super strong laser, you could point it straight from Pluto and hit Earth. And remember, the direct path is the quickest way to send energy. You're not zigzagging around trying to reach your destination. Because it's a direct path on May 6th during this alignment, it will be felt by the collective. And it's going to be felt most by my little buttercups that have Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, and Aquarius energy in their chart, especially if you have any planets in these signs between 3 to 5 degrees, but also I'd say 1 to 7 degrees. On May 6th, Pluto energy and Aquarius energy has a direct beeline to you. So why do I say these 4 energies will feel the strongest? Well, Pluto is ruled by Scorpio, and it is currently in the sign of Aquarius, and both of these signs are fixed signs. If any of the 4 energies that I'm speaking about are your rising sign, it means the other 3 energies are in your angular houses. These angular houses are your 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th houses. 7th house is opposite your 1st. The 4th and 10th house square your 1st. So there's a lot of tension between these energies. They are a lot alike, but they're also radically different. The hardest part when dealing with these energies, these 4 energies, is every single one of them think that they are right. So it's like being in a vehicle with 4 different personalities, all trying to dictate which way to go, and each person being so stubborn and truly believing that they know the right way no matter what the other 3 are saying. That's why these signs feel it the strongest. But for all 8 billion passengers that Earth is carrying, this energy will be felt. This is the time where you meet Pluto face to face. You have Pluto's vulnerabilities facing Earth's vulnerabilities in a clear, unavoidable way. It can be a sensitive time for our collective. This will be seen in your inner world, which is Pluto, and your outer world, which is Earth. Think of it as a time where your inner and outer world align. Expect things to manifest that bring up old wounds and delicate feelings. Now, as Earth continues to run on the track, Pluto will fall further and further behind her. It takes Earth 5.5 months before she is actually able to get directly opposite of Pluto in station. The intensity will dissipate some, but it's entirely dependent on if you recognize, heal, and integrate what comes up for you. I will say, if you're already not comfortable with that Scorpio or Aquarius energy, it could also seem intense even longer. It's totally based on how comfortable you are with these energies and how open you are to harnessing the energy and using it to heal and elevate the collective consciousness. Now, this is where I am totally different than most other astrologers. I have repeatedly encountered a perspective amongst other astrologers where they view Pluto retrograde as this time of deep, profound introspection, causing us to examine these transformations that we missed or delayed or resisted, and then commit to ourselves on integrating these transformations moving forward, which all sounds very Scorpionic to me. But I think they view the retrograde as kind of a time where you reflect on everything that was going on while Pluto was direct. So what I mean is during the retrograde time period, they tell you to go back and review where you could have changed some things the previous 6 months and change them. It's like your second chance or something. I don't quite see this energy the same way. Look, Pluto does embody Scorpio energy, okay? And Scorpios are inherently introspective signs. They already are the ones that naturally look inward and reflect. So when a planet retrogrades, this literally means it inverses. It looks like it is traveling the exact opposite of what it is supposed to. So with a Pluto retrograde, I don't believe it's a time where you get to be fancy and free and reflect on the last 6 months and gain all of this introspection time while unicorns and bunnies hop around in lush green fields with the skies filled with sunshines and rainbows. No, quite the opposite, actually. Things start popping off in the world outside of you that triggers the wounds within you. And that's only because by doing that, you get the chance to analyze and figure out what the heck is going on within you and fix the issue. It's not this nice quiet time where nothing happens and you get a 6-month break to process and integrate. Are you kidding me? If anything, the outside of you is going to bring some extremely painful situations where you have to face your darkness, your power, your heart, and your pollution. You have to heal. You have to face these things. You cannot just bury them and move on. Not during a Pluto retrograde. She comes back to dig things up within you. Pluto isn't in the lead of the race anymore. Earth is. Pluto is in Earth's shadow at the moment. So what are Earth's shadows? Earth is the abundant, balanced, healthy, stable planet that can sustain life. But even she has a shadow side. Pluto is now going to be in a position to transform Earth's shadow where she is located. Earth's darkness relates to materialism and the drive to constantly build and consume. Earth resists change and clings to cycles as a way to preserve dependability. The sun comes up every day. The moon comes out every night. Water cycles the same way. Earth loves cycles. She can also prioritize work. Just think about it. The one constant thing on Earth is change. Things are always moving. So as a collective, we are going to be looking at ways that materialism and our consumption is leading Earth to remain in her shadow instead of coming to the light. All of this manipulation created to drive humans to consume is causing a great pollution amongst our collective. And not just in our air, but also in our hearts. We are destroying our waterways, our forests, our food supply for materialism and consumption. We are in these cycles where it's natural for businesses to create products that do not last or cannot be fixed so that they can sell you more. We are in a time where you must focus working hard to be able to provide for your family or yourself the ability to consume. This is the toxic side of Earth. In her manifested healthy ways, she's reliable, stable, practical, grounded, dependable, and organized. Look at your Earth signs in the zodiac. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Look at how they are in their shadows versus their healed self. These three signs rule over the second house of values, the sixth house of daily living and serving, and the 10th house of bringing your creativity out to the world. With this energy, expect to reflect on what your part is in this world cycle. What do you value, and how can you bring this value creatively out into the world to serve others? Aquarius energy is all about that big picture of things and how choices affect the whole collective. What is your big picture? How does it affect you? How does it affect your family? How does it affect others? During Pluto retrograde, you will see news or hear things from people that trigger you. But this retrograde is asking you to analyze your willpower and your heart. Do these cycles humanity is in hurt your heart? If they do, what do you do about it? It's like I said in the beginning of my video, I'm just a small fish in a gigantic sea. But every little small part helps, and I'll tell you why. Because of exponential growth. If you don't think you can make a difference in this world, you're crazy. We all have equal power. Maybe you decide to start recycling during this transit. Okay, great. You're doing something wonderful for this world. But where it gets beautiful is when someone else sees you doing it. So you inspire them. Or someone randomly talks about wanting to start recycling and you actually help them figure out how to do it. So because you decided to recycle, now you have the knowledge and the action on how to do it and can help others, and then they can help others, and it just grows and grows and grows. Every choice you face affects the whole collective, whether we realize it or not. Each time we drive a car instead of walk, how are we affecting the environment of the collective? Each time we decide to wear a huge diamond ring on our finger, how are we affecting the trauma put on those required to mine the diamonds? Each time we fill up our car with gas, how are we affecting the pocketbooks of the elite? Anytime Pluto goes direct or retrograde, it's a turning point. This retrograde is starting in the 5th degree, which is a Leo degree. This Leo energy lets you know that you are special. You are here to complete something. You came to this earth at this exact moment in order to make something extraordinary happen that has never happened before. We are raising the collective consciousness for the new earth. It's quite empowering that we are all going to come together and do our own individual part to help the collective. We came here at this time because we wanted to be different. So whatever your plan is to help Earth and her consciousness, this retrograde will have you thinking about the long-term impact it will have way after you're gone. Leo is also a fun energy. It rules over the 5th house of fun, pleasure, creativity, children, romance, and risk. As an individual, you may have had plans to move forward with some idea that you had, but at this time, you are pausing for a moment to analyze if this is really what you want your gift to be to the collective. Are you doing it for the money? Are you doing it to help others? Are you doing it as a means to survive this economy? Why are you doing what you are doing? What is your intention? What is your creative gift? The answer will look different for everyone, but you have a unique gift. It doesn't mean it has to be different than everyone else's gift, but you have a unique way of stamping your own creative energy on it. Let's say you write songs. Okay, multiple people write songs in this world, but your gift could be that you write songs that hit the heart and make people cry. You have no idea how much that can help the collective. Sometimes I needed to cry, but I just couldn't cry on command. So I would listen to sad music and that made me cry. And you wouldn't believe how much that actually helped me process my grief. If those songs hadn't existed, I would have never been able to do that. There are also creative, funny songs. Johnny Cash was amazing at telling funny stories with his songs, like Chicken in Black, where he tells a story about how he had a doctor switch his brain with a bank robber who died the night before. And then he finds that he walks into a bank and the lady's like, "Why, you're Johnny Cash." And he said, "No, ma'am, I'm the Manhattan Flash." And he robs the bank and he finds out he couldn't sing anymore. So he begs the doctor to give him back his brain. But the doctor tells him that he put the brain in a chicken who then goes on to have a successful country music career. He also sung a song called One Piece at a Time, where he works at a car factory, but he needed a new car. So over the years, he packed out one car part at a time. He then builds his car and goes to register it, and the clerk asks what year it is, and he's like, "Oh, it's a 49, 50, 51, 52. You get the point. He had some creative songs. Even though both people are songwriters, each has their own gift. As Pluto retrogrades back, we will be hitting 4 degrees of Aquarius, which is a Cancer degree. This is where our wounds to our heart can be triggered. We have left the age of Pisces, which was an age where a degree of sacrifice was needed in any type of relationship. And this is not going to be the case anymore. We have moved to Aquarius, where each person will stand as their authentic self without the need to sacrifice any part of themselves. But this doesn't happen overnight. We are the group that gets to transform this dynamic. Power dynamics are also changing. So expect to see places in your close relationships that prevent you from sharing your gift or make you sacrifice parts of yourself. And this is a time when those childhood wounds come up in regards to sharing your unique gift with the world. Those closest to you are often the most critical of you making changes because it directly affects them. During this transit, expect to analyze what exactly you do want and how it does affect those closest to you. And if you do have to come to a choice point, what choice will you make if there's an ultimatum? Pluto retrogrades make you aware of what you're actually projecting on others, as well as what others are projecting on you. For example, if a man says to a woman to stop crying because she's being too emotional, he's only doing this because he has denied himself the allowance to be emotional. He has been taught as a child that men do not show emotions, that it's weak, and that it solves nothing. When in reality, we are all emotional beings and get emotional. Or let's say a woman has rejected her own vulnerability. So she presents herself to the world as a strong person who doesn't need help. But remember, when I said Pluto moving backwards is just an illusion. Anytime you project, it's an illusion. This is why you will become aware of these illusions during this time. When a woman develops this need to feel strong and not ask for help, she creates this false masculine strength. She's actually learned to be strong in a way that she thinks men should be, which is invulnerable, capable, and never needing anything. So she projects this idea onto men and then punishes them for being human, which leads her to not be able to have successful relationships. No matter what you identify as, we as a collective have to heal these projections. And I have never met anyone who doesn't project. The last degree Pluto will hit is the 3rd degree, which is in Gemini. This is when you can expect conversations to be triggering, or the news or the media to trigger you to make a change. Watch out in the collective for people that try to use words to manipulate or exploit you. For some reason, I'm seeing political ads. They're coming up in my mind. If you watch carefully, they often only show one perspective on things, and sometimes they bend the truth to fit their narrative. This is what this time period will look like in all media. Voices only using one perspective to lead others when there are actually multiple ways to look at things. People using their voice telling others that they must try this new product as a manipulation tactic just to get them to buy and consume. Communication in your close circle could have some circumstances where people are trying to convince you to veer away from your truth if it doesn't actually positively affect them. So say your truth is to be a doctor abroad and help others, but your partner doesn't want you to leave. So they communicate all of these reasons you would be a terrible person if you left. But would you be a terrible person if you left and helped the world? See what I'm saying? If any of you feel your voice will make a difference in this world, this will be the time where you really think about what you can do and say that will help others. Your voice can help or hurt others. The power sits within your will and what it wants to do with it. Now, once Pluto gets to 3 degrees Aquarius, this will be when Earth has completed its path to the opposite spot, but is still in alignment. So this will cause the two to look stationary. And then once again, Earth moves to catch up to Pluto as Pluto looks like she is in the lead again and moving forward. At that point, we will move back through Pluto being in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th degree of Aquarius. This is the time where we applied what we learned through the retrograde. These are hot topics in today's society. That's why we needed to revisit them. But now we will have a clearer picture of what we need to do. Mwah.